Welcome back to From the Pages of Inside Wrestling, the May 1991 issue. Right away, you can feel this is one of those magazines where everything is happening at once. Not just inside the ring, but outside of it, around it, and layered into it. This is not a single story issue. This is a snapshot of an entire wrestling world that feels like it is shifting in real time. Before you even settle into a feature, you are dropped straight into the voices of the fans in Sincerely Yours, and they set the tone immediately. They are not passive, they are engaged, opinionated, and very specific about what they are seeing. Some are calling out Hulk Hogan, saying it is time to finally end things with Earthquake and move on. Others are questioning Barry Windham, wondering if he can ever really be trusted or if history is just repeating itself. There are comparisons being made between Michael Wall Street and the Million Dollar Man, which tells you exactly how fans are processing new characters by tying them back to familiar ones. You see reactions to Ric Flair winning yet another world title, and even letters that reach back years, still talking about Ivan Koloff defeating Bruno Sammartino like it never left them. That is the key. Wrestling does not reset, it builds, it lingers, and fans carry everything with them. And that feeling carries directly into the editorial, and this is where the issue takes on a different weight. The Gulf War is not just mentioned in passing, it hangs over the entire piece. It creates a tone that is serious, at times uncomfortable, especially when you start thinking about how wrestling storylines, particularly Sergeant Slaughter, are reflecting something much closer to real life than usual. The magazine does not ignore that. It leans into it, and it gives this issue a sense that wrestling is not existing in a bubble. It is reacting to the same world everyone else is living in. From there, Craig Peters brings things into a more personal space, with On the Line focusing on the Armstrong family. Brian Armstrong is overseas serving, while the rest of the family continues wrestling. That contrast is hard to ignore. There is pride in what he is doing and pride in the family name, but there's also tension in knowing that one part of the family is dealing with something real while the other continues performing. It creates a strange balance that feels very specific to this moment in time. Then the magazine pivots again, and this is something it does constantly, moving from serious to analytical to personal without losing its rhythm. Behind the dressing room door takes a close look at the dangerous alliance, focusing on Arn Anderson and Bobby Eaton. This is not written like promotion. It reads like evaluation. They are being compared to the Midnight Express, to Blanchard and Anderson, and placed into that lineage of great tag teams. And the idea being presented is that this pairing is not just good, it is potentially historic. That kind of framing tells you how highly they are being viewed in the moment. Immediately after that, the tone flips with the insider. Now the writing becomes sharper, more sarcastic, more critical. It questions David Sammartino for chasing Ivan Koloff after all these years. It asks why anyone would want to fight battles that belong to another generation. Why carry that weight? Why try to rewrite something that already happened? And that question does not sit on its own. It leads directly into one of the most personal stories in the entire issue. It was an anniversary gift for my dad is not just about a match. It is about memory. David Sammartino finally gets his chance at Ivan Koloff, the man who ended Bruno Sammartino's legendary reign. That moment has lived on for years, and now it is being revisited through the sun. David wins, but only by countout, and it does not feel like closure. Koloff is still talking, still bragging, still presenting his version of history, claiming dominance when the reality was much different, and that is what makes the story work. It is unresolved. It shows that some things in wrestling never get tied up neatly. They stay open, and they keep coming back. That same idea runs through the rest of the magazine, even in the quieter sections. Where Are They Now gives brief updates on names like Bulldog Bob Brown, Manny Fernandez, Butcher Brannigan, and Eddie Gilbert. These are quick snapshots, but they carry weight because they remind you how quickly things move. One moment someone is at the center of everything, and the next they are a small update in a column. Then you move into the profile on B. Brian Blair, and this is where the magazine slows down again and tells a full story. His football background, his success in Florida, the Killer Bees run, and his time in the UWF all come together to paint a picture of someone who has been through multiple phases of the business. It grounds him in a way that makes the rest of the issue feel connected. Then the magazine expands outward again with Matt Brock taking you on the road. Miami, Texas, London, different locations, different crowds, different reactions, but one consistent takeaway. The biggest story is not Hulk Hogan winning the Royal Rumble. It is Sergeant Slaughter winning the title. That is what people are reacting to. That is what is driving conversation. And at the same time, you see how big the WWF is becoming, especially internationally, with packed buildings and strong reactions. Overseas, it shows growth, but also shows how quickly perception can shift. And all throughout this, the ads are not separate from the experience. They are part of it. The UWF hotline promises inside information for a price, creating that sense that there is always more to know if you are willing to pay for it. The Answer Book of Wrestling offers knowledge, positioning itself as something you need to understand the sport better. Glow tapes and classic video ads tap into nostalgia, while cross promotions for Pro Wrestling Illustrated and The Wrestler reinforce that this is all part of a larger system. These magazines are not isolated. They're feeding into each other, building a full wrestling media world. Then everything starts to narrow in on the major features. Ric Flair and his 7th world title reign are not presented as a celebration. It is framed as a question. Can he still be respected? There's no debate about his ability in the ring. That is established. The issue is how he wins, how he carries himself, and whether that has started to overshadow everything else. That leads directly into the hot seat with Sting, and this is one of the defining parts of the issue. Sting is not complaining. He is not asking for sympathy. He is clear about what he wants. A fair match, no controversy, no replay, no excuses, just a straight fight. At the same time, he is training harder, staying focused, and acknowledging that there are other threats out there, including Lex Luger. It is a controlled response to frustration, and it stands in direct contrast to everything surrounding Flair. Then the focus shifts back to the WWF side. Savage and Warrior are no longer fighting over a title. That part is over. Now it's about what happened, about betrayal, about pride. Savage cost Warrior everything, and now the issue is personal. Sherry is right in the middle of it, adding another layer to the conflict. This is no longer about championships. It is about settling something that cannot be undone. That same theme continues with Virgil. After years of being controlled and humiliated, he finally breaks away from the $1 Million Man at the Royal Rumble. It is a moment that feels earned, but it is also uncertain. Now he has to stand on his own. Roddy Piper is helping him. Kerry Von Erich is offering support. But there is no guarantee that it will work. It is a risk, and the magazine treats it that way. Even the one-on-one feature continues that tension. Barry Windham and Dan Spivey go back and forth over Sid Vicious and the future of the Horsemen. It reads like a real argument, direct, personal, no filter. And then everything circles back to the cover story, the Steiners, Rick and Scott, one of the most dominant tag teams in the world, but both with their eyes on Ric Flair's title. Instead of avoiding the conflict, they embrace it, they make a pact. Whoever wins the title gives the other a shot. No hesitation, no way around it. And now every opportunity comes with a consequence, because it means that eventually it becomes brother versus brother. Loyalty versus ambition, and that possibility hangs over everything. And when you step back and look at the entire issue, that is the thread that connects it all. Tension, loyalty, respect. The past never fully going away. Real life and wrestling overlapping, everything pulling in different directions at the same time. And even when you reach the end, it does not feel complete. It feels like something you go back to. Now, because there's always something else in there, another detail, another perspective, another moment you did not catch the first time. If this one brought you back even for a few minutes, save it and come back to it. And drop your memory from this era. Who stood out to you? What hit you the most? See you next time. Farewell from the Empire State.